Excuse me, miss, I'm in shit. You should come with me, basically. Hold up, skip all the singing, let's get right tonight.
Let's go. Just a drug dealer special.
Beanie Sneaker boy smoking that la la la. Neptune track smoke like la la la. It's the rap baby sing I lullaby. Come on.
Hello YouTube.
Hey guys, how you going?
We're gonna start a video today about follow-up, which is one of the most crucial parts of the sales job.
How much is that camera shaking? Hold it still.
Man, we're going on the bumps as you're driving.
Dude,
all right.
The camera's still.
Okay, so do you want to go on to your story about follow-up today?
Yeah, so the reason why we wanted to talk about follow-up today was Rosh and I were just having a quick conversation about the past week that's gone. Something that stuck out to me in my practice was I've got a call sheet at the moment that I've been working on. There's about 80 names on it. Again, this is for broking. So what I've been doing is it's a spreadsheet, and I've got first name, last name, email address, mobile number, and every week I review it and I go through it and I call people, and then I write a little note down next to each person. What day did I call them on? Did I leave a voice message? Did I send a text message? Did I send a follow-up email, etc., etc. Something that I realized was that after about 3 weeks, if I hadn't connected with one of the customers, or if I hadn't heard back, or if it was a negative response, I'd sort of stopped following up on them again after that. And I was just lucky that one of my colleagues came into the office and reminded me how crucial it is to continue to follow up, basically until the person takes like an AVO out in you, until they go
stalking out.
Yeah. Until they basically tell you you're a stalker and to get lost. Because one of the things in my industry and in a lot of sales industries is it's not until the 5th call, somewhere between the 5th and the 12th call, that you actually do make that connection with the customer. So, and we spoke about this on the last video that we uploaded, the first and second phone calls, you're sort of building trust, and that's even if you connect. A lot of people don't pick up their mobile phones, especially during office hours. So the main message today is that regardless of how many missed calls you've got, regardless of how many unanswered emails you have, you probably have more value in terms of how statistics and percentages work with following up customers if you continue to work with the ones that are already in your database, the ones that are already in your CRM, rather than always looking for new lists, always looking for new people to call. You probably get less value out of doing that than just being diligent with the ones that you've already got.
That's true, and that goes on that organic growth as a new business as well. So just make sure you're being as analytical with your customers as possible for the it's a loud bus. Be as analytical as you can with the customers that you have, because sometimes we're often too busy as well. Sometimes you pick up the phone and you're too busy, and we might think of that as an interaction as a salesperson, but the person that you're trying to get in contact with is really just busy, and they can't really have that engaging conversation yet, and they'll mentally leave it for later in their subconscious. So don't be afraid to have that fourth and fifth call with some customers. I think that's the other message, isn't it?
Yeah, so the main thing that I wanted to communicate from my side of things today is focus on the customers you've already got, work with them until you get a definitive no, that you've definitely got no chance of selling to them. Until you get that definitive no, there's more value in continuing working on them than there is looking and hunting for new business.
Yeah, and if you are on the field or even on the phone, if you do say what that you're going to do something, make sure you do it, and remind the person that you're going to do that thing with, that action with, that call of action. Say, I remember from that call last time that we had, you wanted me to follow up on this, and this. Make sure you state those things that you said you're going to follow up with, because sometimes the customer doesn't really remember what you're going to follow up with because they think that you're going to remember. So remind them as well, so that way they know you've been working in the background as well.
Yeah, that's right. You're the sales professional, and it's your job to lead them from the start to the finish. Any emails, any correspondence that you've had, make sure you've got it open in front of you so you can quickly refer to it, and touch off on all points that were concerns with the customer. But again, just to sort of to reiterate, the purpose of follow-up is that, and we spoke about this in our How to Fill Your Pipeline videos as well, you're not expected to, and don't expect to, sell your customers on your first interaction. I don't know about your field, do you sell people the first time you meet them?
Nah, definitely not. You're going in there, and even on the phone too, you're going in there to build a relationship. And sometimes people will just give you the call to action straight on the first time. That's quite rare, but if it happens, then take full advantage of it.
Go with it, man. Go with it.
Go with it. Yeah. But just make sure that even if that is the case, sometimes it's better to slow down the customer as well, just so they know that you're taking care of and making sure that they're making the best decisions for their own type of business or for what they need to achieve. And work with them and partner with them again. That's really important.
Yeah. So the main take homes from follow-up, what is it for you?
Just make sure that that you can call more than 3 or 4 times. Make sure
put all that natural light on you. I won't get some on me.
Yeah. Well, make sure you can call 3 or 4 times. Don't feel afraid, because until a customer says something negatively to you, until you read those body language, until you read that body language that they're really hesitant, don't feel afraid to keep calling and keep following up, because often you might have a bad day and we don't know as a salesperson, but you just have to read that body language, understand what's going on in the day, understand what things they've been going through on that day as well, and then make a decision whether you do want to follow up on that day or whether you want to delay it for like a week or 2 weeks and then go back to it.
Look,
be empathetic.
Can I have some airtime?
Yeah.
The other thing is as well, and it's a bit of a story that I've got from work. So often, and this has happened more than once, in fact, this is not unusual at all. Like, we have customers that we speak to, we send them emails, we leave them voice messages, we send them text messages, we do the works, we interact with them in every way possible. And we're sort of wondering, I've had an interaction with this customer, they've never said yes, they've never said no, it's sort of like they're in limbo, they're just dangling there. And look, what you find, exactly what Roshan just said, we don't know what our customers are doing. We don't know what their everyday life is like. They could be between jobs, they could be moving houses, there's a million different things that could be going on. Something could have happened with the family, who knows, you don't know. And don't make assumptions, so don't think that you've lost a customer or whatever just because you haven't heard from them. I've had customers that I met, last year, met a customer in November, finally got through to them just last month. So that's like 7 months. 7 months between speaking to a customer, leaving my initial messages and actually doing some business with them. If you cut them off and you never record them, then they're never in your pipeline. You've never got any chance of actually being able to do business with them. So play the long game.
Yeah, play the long game. You often be told from your managers as well to, what actions you've got in place. And don't feel afraid to remind them as well that, this is a long-term game. Once you start building up that referral basis as well, that business will start coming in, too fast for you even to handle. So, just make sure you're diligent. Do what you said that you wanted to do. Take your time. It's a long-term game. You don't want to just put some money in your bank account just to, the sacrifice of losing a relationship where they could have given you another 5 referrals. So, take your time.
And that's another good thing. That's another really good point as well. Like when you get to a certain point after you've done a certain number of business, it's like every salesperson has to cut their teeth on cold calls initially.
Yeah.
You don't know anyone. You're not in the market. You've got no presence. You need to somehow dominate your market. You need to become known. You need to come out of obscurity. And the way to do that initially is through cold calls, is by getting in front of as many people as possible. But as Roshan said, it gets to a point where you can no longer continue to service or continue to maintain the rate at which you were cold calling previously, because organically your business is going to take over, word of mouth is going to start spreading, you're going to have a natural presence, you'll have some percentage of market share, and then it will be up to you to continue providing 100% quality rather than just always looking for new business. So that's a really important point as well.
Yeah, and if it's your business, you don't even know if you've got enough money in the funds to get another headcount, and we need to have enough business to service by yourself. So if it is your business, think about how you're going to grow by following up. And if it is a corporate business, of course, they can obviously look at putting more headcounts in to service that business. So just be diligent, play the long-term game and understand the analytics of your own territory as well. That's the other advice.
Okay, so to wrap this one up, a couple of specifics. So some actual things that you can do in terms of following up. So once you've met someone for the first time, once you've made that initial call, what your job is going to be is to send a follow-up email, send a follow-up text message, leave a voice message. So those are 3 of the key things that you can do in terms of follow-up. And then once, if you don't get a response from that, you need to note it down in your CRM or on your spreadsheet, whatever you're doing to keep track of your leads. Note down the date, note down the form of the communication that you left. So if it was a voice message, you'd say voice message left on the 30th of July. And that way you know exactly, and you'll have a plan in place. Okay, every 5 days or every 1 week, every 7 days, you want to hit this person with one interaction. If you note that down, you're going to know exactly what to do, and so that you don't keep doing the same interactions, you try different mediums. And it's not too often to scare them off and to come across as desperate as well.
Yeah, and that's a hot tip as well. So if you want to take it a step further, you can actually write down the interactions that you had and the follow-up actions at every date that you had as well. And then when you go to the customers, you can show them the dates of the things that they were asking for, and then you can cross them off with a line, and that shows the customer that has been completed on their end, and also that you've been doing the work in the background as well. That way it's kind of like a mutual understanding that you do actually have a partnership, and it's more than just a best friend relationship. You're there as a trusted advisor.
All right, guys, that's about it. We're gonna wrap this one here.
Wrap it up.
It's time to wrap it up. What we're gonna do is, as per usual, we'll follow this one up with a technical analysis of follow-up. We'll put some slides together. We'll describe what follow-up really means, what it looks like, and we'll put some practical things that you can do that you can implement into your business straight away to start following up and winning more business. Roshan and I will screencast that one together, and we'll get it on to YouTube shortly.
Sorry for the joltiness. Tim's obviously just learning how to drive a manual car.
First time.
He was been in first gear the whole time. Cool, guys. I'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.